What is up, everybody? I wanted to share with you guys my planned raid build for the raid that's upcoming. Hopefully it'll be here this week, and I went through a lot of iterations and changes to the build, and I have finally settled on what I think is the best build for the raid. Keep in mind, things could change, and come patch day, I will probably have an update to this build with all of the things that I plan to recalibrate it onto it, but I'm going to explain all those and show you it's really solid as it is. If you stick around to the end of the video, I actually have gameplay for this. It is a solo checkpoint level 4 clear, and this build is working amazing. I could not believe how easy it was to do it. And this build's a little strange. Talents and abilities and things that I've never used before. After really looking into what I think the raid's going to be like, I decided to use this stuff. So let me just get into it. First off is the gun and the talent that I'm using on the gun. I have this ACRE, and the talent is Preservation. I might not use this ACR. I might use my 416 with Allegro and roll Preservation on it, but what's important here is Preservation. This is getting buffed in the patch. It's going to be body shot kills are 10% armor over 5 seconds, and headshot kills are 20% armor over 5 seconds. This stacks, so if you kill multiple times in that 5 seconds, you do get the benefits from all of them. So it's really awesome. It gives you a ton of added survivability, and I think this is going to be more important. I've done a lot of tests doing heroic missions, and I've found that being more tanky, I think, is going to be better for the raid, but still being able to do a decent amount of damage. Now, I have extra rolled onto this. The only other option I would say here would be, the rate of fire increase, like this P416 Allegro. I think I'm going to roll this strained P416 that I have to Preservation, but we'll see. It's got, this has 650 RPM. This thing has 825 RPM with a little bit more damage and 10 less bullets. I have the 20 round AR mag, if you guys are wondering why I have so many bullets. I got lucky and got the 20 round AR mag. Bottom talent on this is in rhythm. It's not as important, but hey, it can work. My secondary gun is going to be the Nemesis sniper rifle. And if you guys don't have this, honestly, for the raid, I recommend the Liberty pistol. The Liberty pistol is going to be very useful in the raid. It does, double the damage to electronics, which are, robots. Those sniper dogs that are so annoying. Those are actually electronics. And when you break their armor on the robot dogs or machine gunners or anything, you end up having your next shot do, 500% damage. And I believe it stacks on electronics, so you'd be doing double the damage with the 500, so, 1,000% damage or something like that. I'm not sure. But the Liberty, I think, is going to be really useful if you don't have a Nemesis sniper rifle. Definitely more useful than, like, a Chatterbox or something like that. And if you don't have the Nemesis, I would also recommend using, a bolt-action sniper rifle. You could even have the bolt-action sniper rifle roll Preservation, something along the lines of, like, this Model 700. I've got one here with Preservation on it. This will guarantee, or not guarantee, but make it much more likely that you get the killing blow on them instead of a teammate, and you get your Preservation to proc. So keep that in mind. This is a talent that I never used to actually pay any attention to, but after talking with my friends, we're going to be, I think running this through the raid. Talents. The main focus of this build, you'll see, is massive amounts of armor. This is pre-patch, and I have over 300,000 armor and about 70,000 health. If you guys didn't know, when the patch hits, there's retroactive changes to the health and armor of our builds. They are going to be nearly doubled. Not the base armor here, but the armor you see on your attributes and health are going to be nearly doubled. Apparently not quite doubled, but on the PTS, they were nearly doubled, or if not doubled, and they said that they will be nearly doubled, is the words that they used on Twitter. The talent I'm taking to the raid is going to be Unbreakable. This is getting a huge buff, and it's going to be 70% of max armor is repaired when your armor is depleted. Armor kits used within the next 5 seconds are not consumed. That's really cool. The 70% is a huge buff compared to what it is right now at 25. And the good thing about this talent is it's there when you need it most. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be running Unstoppable Force, but when you have 7 other people in the raid competing for kills, I don't think Unstoppable Force is important as you think it's going to be. But you could say the same thing about the gun talent that I'm choosing to use. It's not going to be up all the time. Whoa, that guy just walked right into me. But Unbreakable is going to be amazing. If it goes through with the patch as far as like the PTS Phase 2, Unbreakable is getting changed to 8 blues, and it no longer has this no other active talents affecting armor kits requirement, as far as I know. So keep that in mind. I'm planning for it to be 8 blues. It could also be 11 blues. Phase 1, it was 11 blues. In the patch notes prior to Phase 2 of the PTS, it was also 11 blues, but then Phase 2 came out and it was actually changed to 8 blues. So I think it will be 8, but it might be 11, so we don't quite know. I'm prepping for it either way. The other talent you want is Hardened, and you want huge armor roll here. This armor is going to, double. We can assume that this will nearly double, so I'll probably have around 35,000 armor on this chest. And the mod slot that I have is a utility mod slot with a 5% generic armor mod. Because I dropped on the ropes. We'll go to the backpack next. The reason I dropped on the ropes is because there's leaked info about the raid saying that there is a large chunk, like the first portion, the first phase of the raid is going to be like under EMP effect, and you won't be able to actually use your skills. So you're going to rely on healing from, weapon talents like Preservation and Kneepad talents like Patience and stuff like that, and your med kits. I don't know if it's accurate or true, but that's what Google told me when I Googled, raid mechanics for the Division 2. Backpack, here we go. Heliguard. I originally went 2-piece Heliguard, 2-piece Murakami, and 2-piece Fenris. I'll show you why. But I actually changed my Murakami backpack to Heliguard because this backpack was just better. I'll show you my original one after I show you this. This has Safeguard, which is getting quite a big nerf. I don't think Safeguard is the most important thing on the backpack. So the main talent, you can kind of just use whatever you feel like. Hardened, I say, is the most important thing to also have a huge armor roll on your backpack. I'm going to be re-rolling this armor to, I'm going to hopefully get around 40,000+ armor. If it goes, according to the PTS Phase 2, our stuff's going to retroactively change. I have a backpack that has like 25,000 armor on it now that I can roll onto this. So this should be around, 40,000 something armor with Hardened and Safeguard. It's also got a defensive mod slot that's for bonus armor and total armor. Another thing that you might want to look into here is damage to elites. I'll explain that in a little bit here. But Heliguard 1 and 2-piece bonus I think is going to be very important for this raid. Hazard protection is everything except bullets, your grenades, the fire, the toxic gas. Any of that stuff falls under hazard protection. So 20% is actually a really huge bonus. And I've always overlooked this on Heliguard, but I think it's actually a really important 2-piece bonus to go with, is that hazard protection, as well as the obvious 1-piece bonus for total armor. Which leads me to my mask. My mask is also Heliguard. I think it's Heliguard is one of the best in slot masks because you can get 2 attributes and a mod slot and a talent. Now, I don't know why my screen is not fitting right now. This is kind of weird. Like, my resolution is being weird in my game right now. But, there we go. Now it's fixed. So, Heliguard mask. I am going to roll this health here to hazard protection. I've got a mask ready to roll. Normally I would roll health, but I thought about it, and I think hazard protection is going to be really important in this raid. So I've got 30% here. I've heard it can go over 40%, and highly recommend putting hazard protection on your mask. And this is the mask I'm going to run. So currently, the best one I have is 30% hazard protection, then damage to elites, and hard hitting. This is a pretty sweet mask. It's got a utility mod slot that doesn't really help me with anything other than a little bit of skill power. It's whatever. But it's a great mask, and I really just wanted to have 2 pieces of Gila, and recently added that 3rd piece. So as you saw, my chest piece was Fenris. My holster is also Fenris. This is really important, guys. 10% protection from elites from your Fenris 2-piece bonus. 10% protection from elites is going to be huge. This is going to pair with my specialist ability, or specialization, which is the survivalist, which gives 15% protection from elites. So with that and this, I've already got 25% protection from elites going. That is a massive amount of damage reduction. It's way better than some extra armor or something like that, because this prevents the damage from ever being dealt to that armor and reduces it to a much lower amount. After I tried running this build, doing heroic tidal basins and checkpoint level 4s, I really noticed the protection from elites and the hazard protection. I basically felt like I was never taking damage. Grenades hardly hurt. The elites were just like, I was laughing at them while I shot at them with, I know, kind of low damage, but they melted still. So I chose Fenris on my holster. You could also put Fenris on your knee pads if you don't have a holster for it, but this holster's pretty good. I'm going to roll this health to a massive amount. On the PTS, I was able to get over 40,000 health on a holster. I don't know if that'll hold true, but it'll likely still be around 35,000 if they went with a little bit lower than what they were originally going with. And I already have a holster that has 20,000 health on it right now that I can roll onto this health here. So that's pretty cool. It's also got hard hitting, and that's just, more damage to elites. So that goes with my masks hard hitting. Now the holster's got hard hitting. And that leads us to, let's see here, knee pads. Knee pads, I recommend either Heliguard or Fenris, depending if you have Fenris on your holster. I really think 2-piece Heliguard and 2-piece Fenris is extremely important in this build. The 3-piece Hela is not needed. I'm not running Pulse at all, so this is whatever. On the PTS, I was able to get my armor to 20,000 on knee pads. I have some knee pads that are over 10,000 right now, and they turned into around 20,000 armor. And it might not be quite that high, but I would expect at least 15 to 18,000 armor being able to be rolled on knee pads. So that's going to go way up there. These already have patience, which is extremely important. I'm sure everyone knows about patience and how important this is in a build. It's being changed a little bit in the patch. After being in cover, it's going to take 5 seconds to start repairing your armor by 5% every second. It's just taking 2 extra seconds until it starts repairing you. And from what it looks like, it's going to require 6 blues or more. These always have 2 blue mod slots. So I've got a high health regen incoming healing mod, and then this mod, which is amazing, which is bonus armor, percent armor, and protection from elites. Protection from elites is really important. Highly recommend you put it on your mod slots that you can. And then gloves. Murakami gloves. 1 piece of this is nice for the health. You don't need Murakami. 2 pieces is nice for the extra hazard protection, but currently, the way it's looking, even without this 2-piece bonus, I'm going to be having, I believe, 50% hazard protection, and I think that'll be plenty. This added, when I had 2-piece with the backpack, which I'll show you in a minute here, added a little bit more, but I don't think it was that necessary. You don't need Murakami. You could run, 511 Tactical. This would actually be, my preferred choice would be 511 Tactical gloves for that additional 5% protection from elites. I just don't have any that have the rolls that I need. The rolls that I needed were no reds, which is weird, but because of my other gear, I did not want to go over 3 for compensated. Compensated is on my gloves. Weapon damage is increased by 15% when your critical chance is below 20%. This is huge base weapon damage bonus, and since I don't have a bunch of reds elsewhere, this was my best damage output I could get. I could have went with non-compensated gloves and, some weapon damage on the gloves with devastating. That can work as well. That's another option. Something similar to this with assault rifle or, these right here. Health, assault rifle, devastating. I could still change to it if I wanted to. That's an option in the build. You don't need compensated. If you have too many reds elsewhere, I recommend, obviously not running it and running something like devastating or damage to elites or headshot damage here. So gloves are a little bit up to you and what slot you want. But these ones are pretty nice. And let me show the other backpack that I was originally going to wear but decided not to. It is this one right here. I have this Murakami backpack, and it had hardened and efficient. Efficient is going to be pretty cool in this, I think. Using an armor kit has a 50% chance to not consume the armor kit. But it requires no other active talents affecting armor kits. Currently, right now, you cannot use this with Unbreakable. You can use one or the other. When I equip this on a loadout, it defaults my backpack to being the one that is active. So if I want Unbreakable active with that, I have to actually unequip the backpack, then re-equip it. Now the backpack talent will be redded or grayed out, won't be able to be used, and my chest will. But as far as I know, if it goes along with the PTS, Unbreakable will not have this requirement anymore, and instead will be requiring, 8 blues. I do think that's a good talent. Preferably, I would run that over Safeguard, because Safeguard is getting nerfed. It is changing to a 5-second uptime with a 20-second cooldown. So it's still going to be 150% bonus to repairs and healing, but it'll only last 5 seconds, and it's only after a kill, and it will be on cooldown for 20 seconds, assuming that it goes with the PTS changes. And it also was changed to 4 or less reds. Like I said, Safeguard is not a priority on this build, and I might change it out. The reason why is because of that talent I showed you on the backpack with Survivalist subclass. There's a really nice perk here called Distributed Repair. Armor kits now repair over 5 seconds instead of instantly, but they also apply to group members within 10 meters. So when you guys are stacked up on cover, clearing out an area, you can use your armor kits and heal your teammates. Plus, you have, a 50% chance to not consume them. And then, if Unbreakable pops, you also have time to use your armor kits. I think this might have changed to 10 seconds now, but I don't know. It might still be 5 seconds. But you also have time to use armor kits and not have them consume, which is basically just free healing to your teammates. Not only that, this affects them, this 15% increased outgoing healing, that boosts them to your teammates. And this is the most important part, I think, of this subclass here for the raid, is 15% increased protection from elites. This is just extremely valuable and has made such a big difference. When I added this with the Fenris and my mod, I had about 30% damage protection from elites, and it was just amazing. I loved it. I feel so strong. Plus, you got, 15% increased assault rifle damage. You got a fire grenade, which is really useful for crowd control. If a bunch of people are running Survivalist with fire grenades, it shouldn't be too hard to actually keep things, from pushing up onto you or, just preventing them from shooting at you. The fire grenades, I think, are going to be really useful in the raid. I've never really used its crossbow bolts, but I've heard they're actually pretty good in PvE. So I'm not really sure. But I haven't played this subclass much. I have been lately, and to be honest, I've only shot this crossbow a couple of times. So I need to give it a go and see how it really goes. But my friends told me it's pretty good. Group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. This is kind of cool with the fire. So that's a nice little benefit of bonus extra damage. And then while in cover, you gain 10% skill cooldown reduction. That's also pretty cool. And then this one as well. Gain 5 ammo per second for your current weapon while performing a cover-to-cover move while in combat. So if you're low on ammo, or even if you're not, you can just, be moving cover to cover, and you get ammo back. It'll help prevent running out of ammo. Hopefully ammo is not a huge issue, and they did buff the drop rates of ammo, because we just don't hold very much, especially if they're going to be really bullet spongy. I've tried this out before, but I don't like these little healing seekers, so I didn't even spec into them. I have 30 more points. I could, but I wanted to show you guys my priorities. I know a lot of people might not have all this stuff unlocked, but I don't think it's necessary for this unless you're running the Liberty pistol. Then you're going to want to upgrade this sidearm damage, which would require this first, and then you can go to this twice, and you get 10% sidearm damage increase. That'll help your Liberty. But I think that covers all of that. The main reason I'm not using On the Ropes, I get asked this a lot, is because I am running Reviver Hive. Reviver Hive, I think, is going to be extremely important in the patch. Apparently, they've fixed it so that it actually works the way it's supposed to and revives you when you go down. Some people try to tell me that this doesn't work in groups. It does. It just doesn't work in the dark zone. But when you go down, it will automatically revive you. I mean, it's supposed to. But we will see if they fixed it and it doesn't bug out and not revive you. But even if not, it'll be really useful to revive teammates. If a teammate goes down, you can shoot the Reviver Hive at him, and it will prevent you from having to, stop doing damage and risk yourself to go get them. I think everyone should probably run Reviver Hive. And then, of course, Chem Launcher for your heal. That is what I'm going with. Let's see here. People ask to see my stats usually. Let's do a rundown here. We've got 17,500 weapon damage. Basically no crit. We've got a bunch of headshot damage, 60% here. And when I'm using Nemesis and scoped in with the C79 scope, I'll show you that after I show you these stats. You actually get another 25% headshot damage. You don't have to be scoped in. It just needs to be a zoom scope. That might change with the patch. If it does, I don't actually mind zooming in with the C79, which I will do sometimes if that's the case to get the weapon damage there, or the headshot damage from the Nemesis. We've got, let's see here, 25% assault rifle damage. I unfortunately don't have any all-weapon damage in this build. My red on my chest is headshot damage, which sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck that much, but I'd prefer it to be all-weapon. And my backpack is a measly 2.5 crit chance, so that definitely sucks. I would have really preferred that to be weapon damage, but it's okay. We've also got 73% damage to elites, and as you saw earlier, 300,000 armor, 70,000 health, and, the protection from elites. The hazard protection is going to be way higher. It's 20% right now, but I'm going to be rolling, the 30% onto my mask. I might find a better mask, roll even more onto it. And I'm going to show you another mod that I was actually going to equip, but it put me under 300,000, and I wanted to be cool for this YouTube video and actually, have 300,000 video, or 300,000 armor for the video. But I actually have a mod that has, let's see here, where is it? This is the mod I'm probably going to wear right here. Bonus armor, 1,600. It's lower armor, but it's got 5% protection from elites. This is way better than, a little bit of armor. So when I wear that, my armor drops, 8,000 or 9,000, but it's totally worth it. 5% protection from elites is way better than 9,000 armor. So this is what it'll actually be. I just wanted to look cool with 300,000 armor for you guys. Unfortunately, I can't use this offensive system mod slot because it'll put me over a red. If I could, I would then mod this with, let's see here, we would put this generic armor mod right there. And then let's see when I do the big boy armors. Yeah, now we're back over 300,000, 303,000 here. That's pretty cool. And I think we could get that to even higher by putting something like this in there. Boom, 312,000 armor now. But because I have that red on my backpack, I can't do it. But that would have been sweet. That would have been real sweet if I could pull that off. But obviously, not a good idea. Gun mods. Sometimes I forget to show this. Damage to elites on the muzzle. I'm running stability on the grip because I'm not running sharpshooter anymore. So the added stability is real nice. This is the C79 scope. This will give you that 25% headshot damage when you use the Nemesis rifle, even if you're not scoped in. However, it might get changed. And I beat the game last week. I made a YouTube video about it and found the plus 20 round sturdy 5.56 mag. This thing's amazing. And that is why it has 60 bullets. But like I said, I'm likely going to change my gun out with this P416 that has Allegro and roll the preservation onto it. I think I covered everything. If you guys have any questions about the build, why I ran it, don't forget to comment and I'll try to read it. And oh, another talent here. Stop, drop, and roll, guys. I almost forgot. Stop, drop, and roll. Really important. Really important. If you go on fire and it's in a hard difficulty, it can hurt really bad and you can die really fast. Stop, drop, and roll. Really, really useful. Same thing with protected reload. Protected reload is another really good talent. It gives you 10% armor while reloading. I don't think it's as important in PvE as it is for PvP, but stop, drop, and roll. Try to put that on like a pistol, or if it's already on your gun, put that on there. Stick around. I have some gameplay footage of this build for once. I know a lot of people always want to see gameplay in my build videos, and I actually wanted to try this build out after running Tidal Basin on Heroic with a group. I was like, that was really, really easy, and I feel like this build's really, really good, and I'm shocked at how well it performed. So I went and did a solo level 4 checkpoint, and stick around and you'll see how it went. But I'll give you a hint. It went really good. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check me out live, Twitch TV/Inigo Montoya. And don't forget to check back after the patch drops for anything that might get changed. We might get surprised with crazy changes that may, contradict what I told you in this build. But I'm pretty confident this is going to be very, very, very good in the raid. And this is what I'm sticking with, and this is how I'm prepping. So thank you guys so much. See you around.
Reinforcements incoming. Reinforcements in place. Supply room access. Unlocked.